2000, it was a magical year for the Mets. They made it all the way to the World Series. We get a look at the team leaders from that year, presented by Geico. Todd led the team in games played at 153. Mike Piazza led the team in batting average and home runs. Fonzie had the most hits. Al Leiter had the most wins and strikeouts. Mike Hampton had the best ERA amongst the starters. And Armando Benitez, 41 saves, the most in the bullpen, as Mr. Zeile rejoins right now. Both of you right in the middle of that 2000 team. You as a player, you as the assistant general manager. And I'd like you to each pick out a couple of guys to give us some flavor from that year 2000, some quirky things that we might not know about. Let me begin with you on this.
Well, I loved watching that montage because it just makes me smile like this. I just remember a lot of the guys on the team. First and foremost, Derek Bell. Derek Bell is one of the characters, not just on that team, in all of baseball. The guy would rap on the bus, but one of the things that I think nobody knows out there is he wore different suit every time we went on the road. So now, picture this. The day we go on a road trip, not only did he get his checks cashed, he was making pretty good money. He was getting him cash, so it was stacks of cash to go on the road with. But then he had 10 suits delivered for a 2-week road trip, and then he'd wear them once and give them away. So we thought that was an amazing, amazing thing that he was doing that and giving all those great suits away. So Robin and I, and by the way, they were as pink as this tie, or green or blue, and they came with ties and belts and shoes and everything else to match. There's so many things about Derek, but he was an amazing teammate. And he gave Robin and I some things to prank the rookies with. We got to use those suits.
So they were loud. They were out there. Yeah. You knew when he entered the room.
You did. He was going to make a statement. And that statement was, I'm using all of my money to buy suits that I'm never going to have use for. And by the way, I probably won't have any money when the end of this is over. So it was tough.
I love the thought of the wads of cash, cashing the paycheck. What about you?
Well, and he had that beautiful lime green suit that it looked like a popsicle, which was bad too as well. But he never had him on his boat, which was out parked in the Flushing Bay, of course, either. But I will say this: Turk Wendell was a buddy of mine. I went to high school with him. A lot of people don't know that. You didn't know that. We played summer ball together, and he had all of these quirks that he developed during those summer ball before he became a pro. But that year in particular, I was complaining about a lot of these the animals in my backyard, deer in particular, that were eating the flower arrangements that my wife had worked so hard at. And he was a huge hunter. Turk was like a big-time hunter, and he snuck up. He got my address. He snuck up with Mike Kincaid. You remember him, the utility guy? And I woke up one morning, 6 a.m., and he's in full camouflage gear underneath the tree in my backyard with a bow and arrow ready. But it was pouring rain, so he didn't get anything. But my neighbors were wondering what was going on. There was some hunting going on in my backyard.
Well, the good news is he would have cut it up right there and filleted it for you if you got it.
That is true.
By the way, did he licorice in high school? Did he eat the licorice?
He started that in college in summer ball. The jumping over the line wasn't as dramatic over the line like he did in pro ball. He would step over it, but then he started to jump over it. Then waving to center field, that started when he started pitching to batters, and I wasn't ready playing in center field, and so I started mocking him, and so then he mocked me back, and then it just stuck because he pitched like some 6 or 7 innings.
And what about the brushing of the teeth?
Well, the brushing of the teeth because of the black licorice, right, Gary? So the black licorice was staining his teeth. He didn't dip. He didn't do any kind of tobacco, so guys would spit on his shoes, and he got the black licorice to try to get back at him, but then his teeth were turning black, so in between innings, he would start brushing his teeth. It was a disaster.
Oh, my. What else do you have?
Oh, well, you know what? I mentioned Robin Ventura because I said that Robin and I got to use the suits to be able to prank the rookies. And for those of you who don't know, once a year at least, you steal the suits on a road trip and you replace it with something else so the rookies got to be embarrassed in the hotel. But nobody really realizes Robin seems so buttoned up and so conservative and just really low key. But Robin was a prankster behind the scenes. And one particular story that nobody probably ever knows was in the Bobby V era, and when we went into St. Louis, and every time we went into St. Louis, and Bobby V would be the first to tell you this, Bobby thought he was having a one-on-one game with Tony La Russa. This was a chess match between managers. And at one point, he double-switched for Robin late in the game, like the 8th inning, and we were in a close ball game, and we were all, wait, this is a kind of a weird move. So comes around, and we have a chance to win the game. with bases loaded and one out. No, bases loaded, nobody out, or 2 outs. And Robin's position comes up. And now Robin comes out of the dugout because he had been taken out of the game. He totally changed. He had a 32-ounce beer in his hand, and that wasn't the first one that had gone down. And he starts ragging Bobby in the dugout about having moved him. He said, I could be hitting right now. I have most grand slams as a current player right now. I could be the guy right now. So Robin, you know, hey, we all know about him sliding around the turf like Piazza, but they don't know the little subtleties that kept the team together.
So straight-laced. I mean, you never thought about Robin that way, but he had his moments.
Yeah, the good news is, and this is, I told this story so I could pat myself on the back. I came up because the guy walked, and I hit a grand slam. And we actually bailed Bobby out. Right. But Robin even gave him more grief after that because he's like, he bailed you. Wow, you were going to lose this game. And so we had a lot of fun with it.
That's the capper of the story. Your grand slam, and not bad.
I was hoping you guys would bring it up.
Bobby had it all planned there, Todd.